quick one. So Olamilekan is an enthusiastic entrepreneur, turned data-driven business strategist with a journey that has evolved from running an humble oil and gas business to navigating the complexities of water management, fueled by passion for business and a thirst for understanding data dynamics. Today, Olamilekan is a data scientist, water solution expert, an entrepreneur, business mentor, and speaker that helps business and individuals decipher data stories to empower companies in crafting their success narratives. He is the founder of Glasshouse Waters, a water solution company, and also a co-founder for Smart Edge Consulting and Analytics, a data analytics company, helping business also to uncover inside true data. His trajectory is a testament to the vision of business acumen and data analytics and shaping futures where innovation and strategy decisions converge. But one thing that wasn't on that is that David has, will I say, he has tax time. I have known David for close to 9 years. I know David from a place of uncertainty to what he's actually doing now. He's someone that has, let me use the word, had time. I have seen David, he's one of the most productive person that I have known. Do want to do something, call on David. He's so good at that. So nobody could come to my mind other than David to give us this session. So David, the floor is yours. Blow our minds. Blow our minds. Blow our minds. Let's welcome him. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you.
Please let me know if you can hear me.
Can hear you.
All right. So it's really good to be here, and I'm glad that you're here today because it's going to be an amazing time. And for whatever 2024 has been to you, I'm very certain that 2025 is just about to get better. And all you have to do is to write the vision down. I tell people it's always the starting point. And I like the instance that Faith gave, and that's where it was talking about that Bible verse that say, write the vision down, make it plain, so that who reads it can actually run with it. When I was looking at that scripture yesterday, because I was going to make a post about this on LinkedIn, and I was looking at that scripture and I'm like, who actually is the reader? One, you are the number one reader. And secondly, the year you are going to. Because the year is going to come with series of activities and events. It's like a chain reaction. It just goes on and on and on. And all you have to do is to live every moment to make sure you are part of each and every activity. And that's why it's important that you write your vision down. Today, I won't be the one to define vision for you. And I won't be the one to define vision for you because I believe you know what a vision is. At least that's my assumption. And in any small way, I'll put it this way, that anything you can conceive with your mind to a large extent, that's your vision. And if you look at it critically, you understand why you need to write things down. And I will also show you why it's important and from my own experience. Okay. All right. So from my experience, I've come from a place where I really don't even know what tomorrow holds. And when I say tomorrow, I'm not even talking with respect to 5, 10 years, like many people do plan. I mean, the following day, what I'm doing now when I think of tomorrow, like in the next 24 hours, I have no idea. But all of this came together gradually as I started looking at what would I want to be for myself. And the best we can do is actually to break these things down to as little as you can achieve per time. So if for 2025 you want to buy a car, you want to get married, you want to start a business, you want to enroll in a school, you want to pick up a skill, whatever it is, the very starting point is you writing it down. The first time I was going to pay a loan when I got my apartment, the deed was to buy a board. I bought a board and I put on that board everything I want to do and achieve. And that's just like the broader goal, the bigger things I want to do. But in each of my jotter or any small parchment I have in the house, there are always something I always write down that I want to do, either the next day, the next week, the next month. And that's where it goes. So this intro is an encouragement to everyone to make sure you write down whatever it is you want to do. Research has shown that those who write things down are more likely to achieve it more than those who just bear it in mind. And that's the way it works. And from my experience, I'll tell you this, that when you write it down, it leaves just your head and enters your subconscious mind. And that's where our habits are determined. The things you do subconsciously, that's where our habits are determined. So if your goal and everything you want to achieve leaves just your brain and it enters your subconscious mind where it becomes part of you, then automatically, somehow, some way, you begin to find yourself doing the things that lead you to where you want to go. Now, I'll give you an instance. There are times where I have things to do, and on the immediate, I feel like sitting down and watching a movie, or just going out and while away time. But somewhere deep down, something is telling me this is what you're supposed to be doing at this point in time. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Write this, send this, call this person, and stuff like that. And it continues like that every time until that particular thing is done. And this is one reason I will encourage everyone to make sure you write down your goal. Write it down, irrespective of how stupid it may appear to you, because there are times I've written things down, I'm like, oh, this is very stupid. Why would somebody write this as a goal? Either it sounds so stupid to you or it sounds too big for you to achieve. Whichever way it is, make sure you write it down. It's always the starting point. But because at the same time, it does not end with you writing the vision down. And that's why I want to address the topic, maximizing time and thriving through uncertainty. And because you want to maximize time, I need to tell us, first of all, what time really is. Because if you know, like Max Moreau said, if you don't know the value of a thing, abuse is inevitable. Because of that, I want us to look at value of time. What is time? There's a lot of definitions, name, titles given to time. But if I will relate with you and I, based on every day that we live and things we do, time is just the essence of life. It's actually the reason your life has meaning. And I will say it this way. Imagine that you have the opportunity to live forever. You discover there's no urgency. There's no reason to run endlessly. You discover there is no motivation, there is nothing pushing you to do anything. Why is because you have all the time in the world. Can we still hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you as well.
All right. All right. Thank you. So, if time has no limit, if time is what it is, that we have the opportunity of living forever, having the opportunity to do what we want at any time in the future, because our life is not going to end. There will be no reason, in fact, to a large extent, there will be nothing of value. But because we know we are limited on time, what you have opportunity today, you may not have opportunity to do tomorrow. And that's why it becomes the essence of life. And it's also the scale upon which a man's life is being measured. And we're going to look at time, the value of time, in 5 different levels or categories. And I want us to pay attention as we go into this, because these are the things that will help us to achieve any vision at all that we put down. Because your vision is going to be time sensitive. Irrespective of who you are, it's going to be time sensitive, it's going to be time dependent. And that's why, as we go, we have to look at what are the things in time that determines the possibility of we achieving our goals, our vision, or not. And the first thing I want us to look at is time as non-renewable resource. The time you have today, you don't have tomorrow. If today is wasted, you don't regain it tomorrow. I remember I was telling someone that all the time you have is always now. Even the next minute, you don't know what it is. And all you have now, all the time you have is now. So time is non-renewable. In fact, I want to put it this way because this particular concept is so interesting to me that every time I think about it, it makes me just smile. Time is constant and fleeting at the same time. That's to tell you that everybody has it equally, but it does not remain forever for everybody. So whatever you have to do, just do. This will take me to this, that if you have today to write a song, for instance, and you think of it that you have tomorrow to do it. See, today you have 24 hours of the 28th of December. God keeping you, if you are available on the 29th, you will have another 24 hours. But not 24 hours of 28th of December. It will be 24 hours of 29th of December. And there is only one point that is proven to everyone. A time gone can never be recovered. When you talk of money, if you lose money, you can always make more. If you lose friends, you can always make more friends. But the interesting part about all of this is if you lose time, you can regain time. You can do every other thing to make up, but one thing is certain, that particular time that is gone, you can regain it. Just where you cannot be 16 years old twice in your lifetime. You can't be 3 years old twice in your lifetime. It only comes once. And that's why it's very important that we maximize every time we have. Because even though it is constant and it comes every time that you have opportunity to experience it, it is fast fleeting that before you know what is happening, it is gone. So if you know that it is not renewable, then you know that every value you are meant to get from it, you are supposed to get. Just the way if you're traveling from here to, say you're traveling from wherever you are to another country, and all you have is exactly your transport fare. Either you traveling by plane or traveling by bus, whichever means, and all you have is your exact transport fare. You won't at that point in time think of a bag that interests you, and you think that's what you want to buy. And the only reason you won't do that is because you know that if that money should be spent on something else apart from your journey, you won't get to where you are going. And that exact way I want us to treat time. It's non-renewable. If it's gone, it's gone. You don't get it anywhere. Nobody will give you his or her own time. In fact, you can't use it. If I want to help you with my time, the best I can do is to do some things for you. Still, that will not buy you the time that you already lost. Bearing that in mind, we need to handle our time carefully and with ultimate demand of value on each second that pass by. Secondly, I want us to look at time as opportunity cost. If you have done any form of business or even in school, you've done economics, you would have come across the term opportunity cost. And what it simply means is for a particular thing that you are gaining, there is something you are losing. And if that is true, it then means of what you stand to gain and lose, you have to consider which one is most important to you, which is most important to where you're going. Until you're able to sort that, you just live through life like every other person and you wonder why things are not happening the way you expect or want it to be. All right, somebody says success is predictable. That is, somebody's going to be successful in the next 10 years from what they are doing now, and you actually can tell the probability of their success. And that points me back to opportunity cost. For me to be able to predict if you're going to be successful in the next 10 years, I only have to look at what you are spending your time on. So for every party you went to, you attend, there is a book you could have read. For every event that you attend, either related to your goal or not, either is leading you where you want to go or not, there is something else you could have been doing. So if you're a writer, for instance, for every time you just go to the movies to just go and while away time, or every time you feel bored in the house and you think you should go and play, there is a page, there is a sentence you could have written. If you are working in the finance system and you're supposed to take some courses, let's say you want to achieve a particular degree to move forward, for every time you spend to hang out with friends, there is a line, there is a preparation you could have done in preparation for what you are trying to achieve. What I'm saying in essence is, for every time you spend on a particular thing, there is something else you have to let go. And if you look at it this way, you see time coming to you as an opportunity cost system or an entity that deals directly on opportunity cost, one thing you understand is the reason you have to channel that time wisely. Knowing fully well that your time is non-renewable, knowing that the time you have does not get more than what somebody else has, it then lies on you that you spend your time on the things that moves you closer to your goal. Right? So I was in crypto, of course I still do crypto, right? And there are times where we do what we call technical analysis. And when you do technical analysis, most of the time what you're looking for is an entry point to the market. If at the point where you are supposed to enter the market, after you've done your analysis, you have seen what you need, you decide to quickly enter the kitchen to go and cook. Before you come back, if only to put your water on the stove, before you come back, it has got into your entry and the thing has started going where you want it to go. But you missed the opportunity because you went to the kitchen to go find something to eat. The way opportunity cost work. And I'm not saying that you should not have time to relax, you should not have time to do every other thing you want to do. But every time you want to spend time on what is frivolous, you have to also consider, if I spend this time on the things I want to do, will it not take me a step closer to my goal, to my vision, to my dream? So know that your time is limited, is not renewable. And at the same time, for every second you spend on something, there is something you also let go. So I'll take us thirdly to time management. This is a very popular concept among those who do project management. And I'm coming this way, in fact, to rearrange the words. And I would like to put it this way, that it is not time management you should actually learn. It is self-management in time that you should learn. Why? Is because I'll tell you characteristics of management. What you can manage will either be something that is increasing or depreciating. Something that you can gain or that you can lose. Something that can get destroyed or created. Something that can be maintained or renewed. Those are the kind of things we manage. And that's why when you go to businesses and they say they are talking about the management team, if you look at most of their work, it's about maintaining the system that's on ground. It's about creating a new system to make sure the one on ground functions well, and many other things like that. But when it comes to time, your time does not increase, neither does it reduce. You cannot even create time. And so if all of that is non-applicable to time, then what do you have to do? You have to manage yourself in time. And that's why if you invite me to a meeting, if I ask you what are we doing there, and I look at it that apart from you saying we are just having fun, if it's not adding anything to where we are going or helping somebody to become better at what they do, I most likely will turn you down. Because every day as I come out of, in fact, before I go to bed the previous day, I already plan the things I want to do the following day. And so if you are not in that plan, it's very difficult for you to jump into it and be a part of it. So this goes on to say that in your self-management in time, it then becomes important for you to set your activities in order. Like Brian Tracy will say, when you write your goals down, say you have 10 goals, we ask you if you have a magic wand to make anyone happen today, like right now, which one will you do? So you pick that particular one. It will then tell you, write 10 steps that will take you to that thing. And when you write those 10 steps down, it will now tell you, start taking those actions immediately. And you make sure from that point forward, the only thing you do are the things that drive you to that goal. If you look at it all through, look at the big names in industries in Nigeria, in fact around the world. They don't have 24 hours, 20 seconds. Everybody has 24 hours. So if they are achieving more, the question will be, what are they doing? Because it's very certain they don't have extra time. And so it becomes important that you manage yourself in time. And the only way to do that is to plan your day every day. You go to work. When do you leave the house? When do you close from work? All of those things you have to plan. And what we call unforeseen circumstances, you know what it is. You put that into your schedules. Okay. On a typical day, traffic, hold up, and stuff like that will take this hour out of my day. When I leave work for home, when I get home, what do I do? So when I've done this, what's the next thing I'm doing? It's just the way it works. And there's no other way around it, because your 24 hours will always come without considering if you achieve anything or not. And it will always go without considering if you are ready for the next one or not. And if you know that to be true, it then means you are the one who has all the work to do. And what do you have to do? Because the only thing that is in your control is yourself. And that means you have to control yourself. You have to manage yourself, manage how you spend your time. You go to work. When you come back from work, what do? Do you read books? Do you call that person you are supposed to call? Do you start that business? Do you reach out to the next clients? Do you take the necessary steps that drive you to your goal? Or like a typical Nigerian, you want to just relax and watch the next trending movie. This, when we look at it critically, we always find out that most of the work is always with us. So it is yours to manage your time, manage yourself in time, and do everything that you need to do as at when necessary for you to do it, not when you are comfortable. This is taking me to another thing now, but let me quickly chip that in. So comfort can be the very enemy to the goal that you have set for yourself. When you look at it, you go to work, you are very tired, and it becomes difficult for you to actually do that. In fact, sometimes you become so tired to make a call becomes really difficult. But you know that it is necessary that you make that call. And that's what you have to do, not what is comfortable. If you always do what is comfortable, then you always end up with every other person, including the people that you hate, for what their life has turned out to be. And so if you want to make that difference, then it means you have to do those hard things that are not convenient, that are not comfortable. And all of that comes to your self-management in time. Every day, plan your activities. Make sure you follow them up. Right? There are days you achieve everything, there are days you don't achieve everything. But always make sure every day you go. Set those goals. What I want to achieve today. I want to speak with Anne today. Sometimes when you have the opportunity, set the exact time. By 2 p.m., I want to speak with Anne. And there are so many things that can help us do that. A lot of reminders, alarms, all kind of tools on our phone that you can use. They will remind you 5 minutes to that time, and you do what you need to do. Because either your life turn out good or turn out bad, you are still going to be the one to be blamed for it. Your mom cannot take your blame. Your dad cannot take your blame. Even your business cannot take your blame. And as a result of that, it requires that you put that effort in to achieve whatever you need to achieve. Because when your life turns out good, you are going to be the first person to partake of the blessings that come with it. I hope you are still following me. And that leads me to productivity. I tell my guys that being busy is not the same as being productive. And I have an interesting definition for productivity. Some of you are going to agree, some of you are going to disagree. But this is my definition for productivity. Your ability to do what you have set out to do. That is productivity. You see, it's not talking about how much you have to make in a day, how many books you have to read in a day. Because productivity is so interesting that it only has to do with you. It has nothing to do with any other person. It's simply you. All you, everything for you. So if you set out to watch a movie, for instance, somewhere you are distracted from watching that movie, I'll tell you that if you look at it that way, you are not productive. I'm saying it because many of us have tied productivity to how much you have to make in a day, in a month, how many books you have to read in a day, in a month, how many people you have to talk to, and different things like that. But productivity simply means what you have set out to achieve, that you are able to achieve. So it then goes to what product did you set your mind to produce? And that goes to you planning to read a book every week. If you're able to read those books, a single book every week, the way you are planned, it means you are productive. If your plan is to live where you are and go to your neighbor and tell them something, if you're able to do it, you have become productive. And I'll tell you from experience, irrespective of what you have set out to do for that day, if you write it down and you achieve it, there's a kind of satisfaction that comes to you and a kind of system readiness that rises up within you for tomorrow. Knowing fully well that you have set out to do 3 things today, and by the time the day is wrapping up, you checked and you have done the 3. You have a kind of satisfaction that say, okay, we'll go again tomorrow. And that's why my definition of productivity is not limited to how many people or how much money you're able to make at a particular time, or how much clients you're able to close, how many business you're able to start and stuff like that. But if you set your mind on a thing and you achieve it, then you are becoming productive. And why your own is better, that you are in this meeting today, put you in a better position because now you're going back to okay, now you are going back to your time to set up your goal and see what you can do. And those things are going to be pushed towards the things you want to do in 2025, the things you want to achieve. And by the time you're able to do that, you discover that the best of productivity you can actually have is what you have been able to produce. Now, the last part of this is your legacy and purpose, or what I would like to call reflection. And this is you at the end of the day, at the end of the year, at the end of the month, looking back and see what have I been able to achieve. And beyond what I've been able to achieve for myself with my time, who have I been able to impact and help to become better, to achieve their own goal and become everything they want to become. And that's that on value of time. Really, our time is fast spent. But let me quickly touch on this. See, there is an urgency for everything you want to do, everything we want to achieve. There is an urgency. And it is, according to Marcus, he said, most is lost in indecision than wrong decision. Indecision is the thief of opportunity. It will steal you blind. And if there's anything I want to preach to you here, is to let you know that what time brings every time is opportunity. And you not knowing if you want to do something or not actually takes away that opportunity from you. And that particularly is the reason time is not renewable. And if you lose it, you might never regain it. So it is also known that the further you perceive a goal to be in the future, the less it motivates you to take action. And what I'm saying in essence is, don't wait till tomorrow. The best time you have is now. Just go for it. Write it down today. Go for it and take whatever step you need to take. And before you know it, you achieve everything that you can achieve. Oh, okay. Within the next 3 minutes, I'll just glance through this and then we wrap it up. This is navigating uncertainty, right? And the first thing you can actually do as someone who lives with uncertainty every time, and I must say this to you, if there's anything in life that you really want to do that is worthwhile, that is going to give you anything that makes sense, that is worth living for, is going to be full of uncertainty. And the best you can do is to acknowledge it now. You are not even sure that relationship is going to last. You are not even sure that business is going to give you the money you're looking for. You are not even sure what tomorrow holds. But what do? You acknowledge that, and still, because of that, you go ahead to do whatever is needful for you to do. So when you acknowledge, you also adapt. And that means if you have planned your goal to be like this, and you're experiencing some changes, instead of changing your goal, just find a way to make sure you still achieve that goal, but it might just be through a different route this time and different strategies. Oh, and the next thing is actually your vision and goals. There's no way you want to do it. You can't go through uncertainty if you don't have a vision and goal, because that's what keeps you going. You want to save so amount of money, but the value of your currency is depreciating. Does that stop you from doing what you have to do? You still have to keep on saving and do whatever you want to do. Resilience and mindset. This, you cannot override this, not in any way. And it cannot be overemphasized. Because anything you have to do in this life, resilience is key. And there's nothing you want to do about it. You just have to be resilient. And your mindset is very important. And this is what some people call grit, where despite the obstacles and problems, you make sure you stay put and stay focused to your goals. Yes, community support. Going through uncertainty, you cannot do it alone. So people have to come to be with you. And when I say that, you have to have people of like mind, people you can share your goals with, you can share your problem with, and they show you the way to go. For our problem, I'm having this problem, what do you think we can do? Some of them have ideas, some of them have experience, some of them have the resources to take you to the next place you're going. So in this goal that you're setting in 2025, make sure you have somebody at least somebody who you can always share your journey with whom you can always go together and do everything you have to do together. So there is very, very high value for community support. Now, risk taking, and that's simply saying taking a step, going for what you have planned to go for. And as we do this, it's only a matter of time before your vision becomes a reality. And this I have to tell you as we wrap this up, that while your certainty inevitably persists, because it will, there's nothing you can do about that, it's going to persist for, in fact, throughout your life. At a point, you're even going to doubt if you are going to leave this planet, right? It is what it is. And I'm saying this to us that while uncertainty inevitably persists, the only time you will always have to do anything you have to do is now. Now is the only time you have. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was an awesome session. You know, you said something at the end, towards the end of your teaching. You said it's very key that we have a community, and this brings me to thanking all our sponsors. You know, the person may not want me to do this, but one of our sponsors actually, you know, when you said if when you have a goal, one thing that really works for me, and please let us drop our questions in the chat box. I was trying to do that, but I was unable and I touched something, so I don't want to do that again. So please, if you have any question, please let us drop it in the chat box, or you can put a thumbs up. We can allow a few questions because I think we've really run out of time. We have 30 minutes to close of this event. And one thing he said that stood out for me was community. Community might be your boss, might be someone that knows that, oh, Anne wants to open a business, or Lolade is passionate about this. No, this person is heading towards this. And you just say that one thing, and that person is, you know, all out for you. And that brings me to the sponsors to this event, you know, someone putting up the flyers, you know, someone always sending an affirmation that this would bless, and you need to put a voice to this constantly, and you can't do it alone. Time of uncertainty, apart from your time, like you said, because time is really like, it's not scarce, it's really abundant. Like I'll quote the speaker, it is very fleeting. There is urgency. So with that little time, and there is so much to do, not meeting up to, you know, that's why you have deadlines, you have a timeline and can't meet up. There's so much to do in such little time. And that is even when some people are so able to, they are able to accomplish so much, and you see your colleague and your colleague has left you at that point. So it brings me to saying thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to everyone that didn't be fit to attend this event. So I'm not seeing anybody's hand for questions. Me, I have a lot of questions for I was taking a lot of notes. I was taking notes. Please, if you have questions, I want to. Okay, let me go to the chat. I don't know. Okay, thank you so much, David. David has really blessed us with his time. So I'm not seeing any hands. Though, is it that we understood everything that was said? and we are so ready for 2025. I'm not seeing anybody's hand though. Or is it that we are just like ready to just enter 2025? Okay, I'll ask my question. David, you said, we don't have so much time. And you said, you gave that example when you mentioned that when you set to do something, productivity, measuring your productivity. Me, this year, 2025, my number one goal, apart from God keeping me alive, is that I want to make so much money. So now, what should you say for Gen Zs like I, who are after the money goal? David, can you hear me? Who after the
Yes,
money
I can.
goal? Yes, who after the money goal? How do you think we are able to balance this with our purpose and legacy? Now, you have mentioned legacy now. There are so many things to this thing. So I'm a Gen Z now. I want to make so much money in 2025. So am I able to balance this? Thank you.
All right. There is something I tell my guys, like, don't mind me if I refer to my guys, because I have people that we talk every time and we discuss some of these things. This is what I tell them, that money is a concept. It's how do I put this? It's an idea. It's not a car, it's not a house, right? It's an idea, it's a concept. And it's so interesting that with the fact that it's a concept or an idea, it does not come on its own. It does not go anywhere on its own. And that's why they call it currency, because it's always on the flow. And if you take water, for instance, water is always flowing from an high altitude to the low altitude. But in the case of money, what it follows is value. Okay. And I remember telling one of them recently that with the world that we are in today, value has become so common that just liking somebody's post can be the value you are giving to that person. Have you seen people who say, come and buy a follower? Exactly. So if your goal is money, the first place to start is really, when you look at a lot of money, how much do you really want to make? And when you say you want to make money, are you talking of turnover, or you are talking of net profit?
Yeah.
So when you're talking of just generating revenue, all of it can be coming and all of it is going. And people will say, oh, you are doing this. Of course, there's a place where that helps you in business, right? But when you look at money, you have to know this $1 billion that I want to have. Do I want to own it 100%, like it's entirely mine? So if, as a Gen Z or Gen whatever, if that's what I want to have, that 100 billion, I want to have it to myself. The next question is, who are the kind of people that have this kind of money? What are they doing? And then I find a way of doing it, because this is where it becomes interesting. There are three ways to get money out of the people that are holding it. You give them a solution, and those solutions must come in three ways. Either it save them time, save them resources, or either it saves them time, save them resources, or it comes faster. That is, when you look at the solution you want to give, it must be so good to that person that they let go of every other option they have. Because everybody you are pitching to, everybody you want to become your client or customer, everybody you want to collect money from, they have somebody collecting the money from them already. They have somebody offering them that value. So your advantage comes in what you are doing better than the person that they are dealing with before. So for you focusing on money, what I will actually say is, while it is good to know your numbers, how much you really want to have, but don't let it be your goal as what you want to make. Let your goal be how much value you can offer to somebody. Because when money is your goal, there is a rat race in the business world that you're likely to jump into. That is people trying to make sure their product or their services is the cheapest. So some of them will serve 50 clients or 50 customers, and what they have in profit, it was somebody who served 2 customers. We have for just doing it for less than a month, maybe just a call away. Now, I'm simply saying that there are different ways of approaching money matters. You can decide to charge the ones you have premium, or you increase the number of people you charge. But really, if that is your goal, your productivity will not directly be about how much that comes in. Your productivity will be directly on how well you are able to impact or offer the value that you offer to people. Are you able to do it cheaper? Are you able to do it faster? Are you saving them time? Are you saving them resources? Are you saving them stress? Yeah. Did that answer your question anyway?
That's really an awesome one. And it brings me to saying that when you mention knowing your numbers, I'll be going with the theme of this event, financing your vision. Okay, because you are in the crypto space, the money space, let me use that word. And I am also in the finance space. It brings me to saying that when you know your numbers, let me give you a practical, and I will say this, I want to be true to myself when saying this, because I shared it with someone and I shared it with two of my close circle. And I was saying it's really key. I know I used to set money goals, but this year I was not clear about my money goals. I said I want to be able to have access to 6 million naira. That is not, I'm not even capping. But I didn't make it clear if I wanted it in debt or if I needed it in property. I said I needed 6 million naira. And funny enough, I went into debt of 6 million naira. I was able to access 6 million naira. Yes, I was, Now, if you don't get it clear, you would think that, okay, that 6 million naira is yours. You didn't know it is in debt or it is maybe in revenue. You can make 6 million naira for your customer, but is it now your profit? So we must really get it clear. Our goal must be clear. Do I want to get married to this kind of person? Or do I want to move to this kind of neighborhood? At what date? Your vision, your goal must be very clear. So that's what I'm going to say to it. So, Elizabeth, are you ready for us? So if you have questions as regarding any area of your life, and I can see people that even if we're not able to answer that, it's not our field. There are people here to answer that questions. You understand? So, Elizabeth, can you unmute your mic so that you can ask us your question? So you must be very, very clear in whatever you want and begin to take action.
Please, before the next person asks the question, I want to say that when you set your vision, as detailed as you can be, please put it down. Be as detailed as you can be. Make it clear so that if you read it again and again, you get what you are saying. There's no confusion about what you're looking for. And then remember that the universe and your brain cannot comprehend negativity.
Exactly.
So don't put it that I don't want. So find a way of reversing this. I want, just go straight. Like you don't say I will not die. Because if you look at that statement, the emphasis is still die, right? But instead of saying I will not die, just put it, I will live long in health and wealth. And that way, every other thing begin to align. Make your vision clear and be as specific as you can get. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Elizabeth, are you ready? Can you unmute your mic? Okay. Okay, all right. Very clear.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Elizabeth.
So I have a question regarding career.
Okay.
So in a case whereby you're ready to get a career, you don't know
Sorry, can you
exactly
speak up
what
a
you want.
little more clearly? Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm outside, so that's it.
Okay.
So in a case whereby you already know the career you want and you already know what you want, like you already know the career you want to do. But
Okay.
the issue here now is the fact of like I don't know how to balance it in your daily life, spiritual life. What are you doing?
David, did you get the question, please?
No, please, I would like
Okay, if I should
um
voice your question clearly. You said you have a career you have in mind.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you balance it with what you're currently doing? Is that what you asked?
No, I said, how do you balance it with your daily lifestyle? Like, how do you learn to amend it with your daily lifestyle and spiritual life
Okay, your daily lifestyle. Okay, how do you
and
blend
your
it?
spiritual life?
And your
Yes,
spiritual
and
life.
spiritual life.
Okay. It's actually in my ebook, which I'm going to share to everyone on this call. There is nothing like saying, how can I, but there's nothing, there's balance is relative. Let me use this. You must first of all have your own personal statements. So when you say your spiritual your spiritual life comes under from you. Your spiritual life is not something that was imposed that is going to be imposed on you. Neither your financial life, neither your mental state or anything. You must have what you want in clear line. Oh, Elizabeth is going to be a global nurse, right? Nurse is clear. Global, you can be local nurse, you can be global nurse, right? So now I'll be a nurse. This is what everything springs from you, what you want. The ebook will really expatiate on that. But David, if you have anything to say. So there's nothing like balance is really relative. You are saying, okay, I'm a mother. How do I balance being a mother and being a banker? It comes from what do I really want? Do I really, David, can you put a voice to it? So that ebook really expansion because we have limited time. I would share that ebook to everyone. But if David has something to say,
all right. So I'll say this that if we are not going to deceive ourselves or make mistakes, we need to know that first of all we are spiritual. And it's because certain things have become so easy. That's why we really don't know where we belong. Okay, somebody whose son died and called him back to life through prayer. How do you talk about balancing spirituality in front of that person? That person will not knock your head that you don't know what you are dealing with. Because when we find ourselves in certain places, we know that spirituality is an essential part of us. In fact, that's who we are. So the only thing I would say is, like she said, know what you want. Because your core existence is actually spiritual. And you can think of it in the aspect of why do you have intuitions? Why do you have dreams? Why do you have visions? Why do you understand certain things that you don't know how you understand them? Why do you perceive there will be a trouble when you have not seen anything that is supposed to bring trouble? All of these things show things that are beyond the physical, right? What you can now go on to look at is, am I looking at taking spirituality as my profession? That is, you want to be a pastor, a deaconess, a whatever. But if that's not what you are talking about, let's say your work is taking your time, you go out early in the morning, you come back late and stuff like that, and it looks like you really don't have time to pray. One of the ways I think you can actually go on with that is pray where it meets you. Read Bible, Quran, incantation, or whatever works for you, wherever it meets you. That's the only way to go. Because as you go, I'll take myself for instance. I can be speaking to you now, and somehow, somewhere I feel somehow. Yeah, I will speak in tongues in your presence. If it's not allowed, or if I think that place is too sensitive an area, I'll just say it out to myself. But I'm just telling you that when we look at life, sincerely, there's no balance to anything. Where you are will determine what you face. And the higher you go, the more spirituality you will discover you need. But sincerely speaking, there's no there's no balance to anything. Because if you want to balance, it's like saying, I want to be like, and I will use the most productive people in the world, for instance. It's like saying, I want to be, I want to be like Elon Musk. You know the kind of business he has and how much money he has. And then I want to be like, say, Funke Akindele, for instance, doing the movies and everything. And then you look at somebody who enjoys time with family, who does not go out, everything is just with the family, and you say you want to do that also. And at the same time, you look at somebody like, say, uh, Pastor E. Adeboye, and you say you want to be that spiritual. It doesn't work like that. You will pick one that you are going to be recognized for, then you are going to pick one that sponsor what you are recognized for. And that's where your spirituality comes to play. So for you to go every day, go out, come in, and be safe and fine, your spirituality, you have to put it into perspective. But the thing you have to do is look at what is most important to you, and at every chance you get, make sure you touch on it.